Hello and welcome back to the Marketing Automation Implementation course. In this section of the tutorial, we're going to cover the basics of using Customer Relationship Management System. So this section of the app will mostly be used by sales teams and sometimes customer support teams. We're going to learn how to create new deals, new activities, and how to automate creating them in different circumstances. So we are going to start with deals. So what is a deal? Of course, it depends on your company because each company can define a deal differently. However, in most cases, a deal is created when a new lead appears in the system. So when someone provides their contact information, for example, by filling out a form or registering on your website or buying a product in an e-commerce. Deal usually refers to the possibility of signing an agreement, either selling a product or signing a partnership agreement. Each company might have different pipelines. One pipeline, for example, could be for partnerships. Another pipeline could be for selling your main product. So each pipeline is something that we see right now. It has different stages like lead, contact made, demo scheduled, and so on. Each stage should reflect one element of the journey of the customer from being completely new in your sales process to being your customer. This is the most popular way to visualize a pipeline. Sometimes you might see it as a funnel where each stage is sort of smaller than the previous one. This is because almost all the cases, when a new deal is created in a CRM, it is usually being created at the first step. And then the user has to perform some action, or the sales representative has to perform some actions to move the deal forward or to close it. So let's create the first deal right now. I'm going to click here on Add Deal. And as you can see, we have this form which enables us to fill out all the necessary information. So I'm going to type in my first deal. The value of the deal will be $100 US, and the stage is of course going to be the first one. As you can see, here I can choose a different pipeline if I had one, but at this point I only have one. Then I can assign a deal to different companies or people. As you can see, I can just search my database to find different companies. This is the example company that I've created at the beginning of this tutorial. So I'm going to use it. However, if I wanted to use another company, I could click here and a new form would appear which would create this company and automatically assign it to this deal. The person is the main contact that this deal is connected with. So I'll go with Lech Test 123. Now, who's this deal going to be assigned to? This is the place where you select the sales representative that is going to be responsible for closing the deal. Now, status of course in progress. As you can see, there are different statuses of a deal, but I will cover it in a second. Next, expected close date. For example, I might give my sales representative more than a month to close this deal. Restricted to. This means that other user will not see this deal and will not be able to access it. So I'm not going to restrict access to this deal. Alright, I can save this right now, and as you can see, this deal appeared on my Kanban view. As a sales representative, my goal now is to move it forward according to the rules set up inside the company. As you can see, this deal informs me about several things. The first one is the name of the deal. The second, the value of the potential deal. The third, the company this deal is connected with. The agent responsible for closing the deal. A status of the deal, so if there are any scheduled activities, if there are any activities that should have already been done regarding this deal, and which user this deal is connected with. Now let's move this deal to the lost section. When I do that, I need to provide the reason why the deal is lost. This is very important if you want to optimize your funnel. Without reporting regarding the reasons of a deal being lost, you will not be able to improve your sales process. So for now, I'm going to select too expensive and save. As you can see, now my pipeline is empty, but this is just because I'm looking at in progress tab. If I switch to lost, I can now see that my deal is still here, but it's in a lost tab. As you can see, I can also filter my deals with other attributes. I can switch between pipelines. Now I have only one. I can select those deals that have no planned activities, that have planned activities, that have activities that were recently finished, and those that have overdue activities. This tab has already been mentioned, and I can also filter by the agent the deal is assigned to. The last element is that I can go to pipeline settings to create new pipelines or change the structure of a pipeline that already exists. Let's do this. I'm now in the pipeline settings. As you can see, I'm now editing the pipeline. So I'm going to call it pipeline number 1. And as you can see, I can change the structure of it and also add new stages. Now I can save this. And as you can see, it has been updated. Now let's create a new pipeline. I'm going to call it partnerships. I have to create new stages for this. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. Let's save it and go back to the deals section. Now, as you can see, this pipeline name has changed and I can switch to partnerships, which has the stages that I've included. Let's go back to pipeline number 1. And the last important thing in this view is that I can change the way it looks. When going to table view, it's a lot easier for the sales representative to find the right deal. Why is that? Because then the sales representative can filter deals based on different attributes of the deal. So I'm going to go with value exactly 100. Search it, and as you can see, this deal has appeared. Now let's dive into the deal itself. We're now inside the deal profile. I'm sure you recognize this design because it's very similar to the way company profile and user profile look. On the left, you can see the company the deal is assigned to, the person, so the user the deal is assigned to, the products, and participants. Participants are secondary contacts that are connected with the deal, however, they are not the main contacts. The next section is tags. Important to remember that those tags are not the same thing as user tags or company tag. As you can see, I already have the field lost reason filled out with the value too expensive. Now at the top, I'm able to add new notes to this deal and assign new activities for the sales representatives regarding this deal. In the middle of the screen, I can see the full timeline of what happened with the user who is connected with this deal. On the right, there are all the attributes of a deal. And on the top of the screen, I can change the stage on which the deal currently is and even change the pipeline. On the right, as you can see, I can archive the deal and then reopen it. If you want to change the attributes of the deal, all you have to do is click this button. As you can see, this form has already been mentioned, and changing the attributes in here will change them in the deal profile. Right, so I think this is very simple. We can move forward to activities. I can move to activities by simply going to menu and activities. As you can see, currently my activities list is empty. So what are activities? Again, it depends on your company. In some companies, activities are also scheduled by customer support agents who create activities just to remember about doing something for a given client or contacting the IT department about some issue. In other cases, activities might be only used by sales representatives for something like scheduling a call or sending an email or even a meeting. What can we see in this view? In the top left corner, I can see that there are different types of activities. So basically, by clicking any of those buttons, I filter my view so that I only see those types of activities. On the right, I can filter my deals depending on who are they assigned to, so who should perform them, the type if they're done, all still in progress, and the dates for which they're scheduled. So let's create the first activity. As you can see, this form is quite similar to the form that we used to create a new deal. So I'll provide all the necessary attributes. Duration, of course, in minutes, so I'll go with 30 minutes. Short description, but of course it depends on you. Deal. Now, each activity can be either assigned to a given deal or a given user. In this case, I'm going to assign it to a person and a company. So, as before, like test and example company. Now, one of the last things is who is this activity assigned to, so who should perform it? And of course, that would be me. Let's save it, and the activity is here. All I have to do to sign it as done is simply click this checkbox. I can also undo it anytime I want. Contrary to deals, activities do not have their profiles. When I click here, the only thing I can do is change their attributes. Now let's talk about automating, creating new activities and deals. Let's go to the automation section and creating new automation. A very popular idea for automating, creating new deals and activities is simply to create them once the user logs in or registers on your website. So registration is usually an event trigger. Then we can move forward to filtering if the user has already registered, or for example, if the user already has a deal. So I'm going to filter by deal count. So if it's exactly 0, save. So if the number of deals is 0, then I'm going to create a new deal. Now I have to fill out this form. So new registration deal. And what I can also do is include user attributes right here. So I go double curly braces and receiver that email US dollars, pipeline number 1, agent group, this agent will receive the deal, and close date is 14. All right. But what if I have more sales representative? What should I do? In most cases, what you will do is simply move it a little bit, add another identical element, and add a split AB module between them. So 50% will go to A and 50% will go to B. So whenever someone registers, I'll check if they already have a deal, and if they don't have any deal, then half of them will go to one sales representative and the other half will go to the second sales representative. I would have to fill out this form again for another sales representative. Now, what if there is already a deal in my CRM? What most companies do is they simply inform the sales representative that the user has converted again, so that the user, for example, could first land in the CRM because they downloaded an ebook, but later registered. So we don't want to create separate deals. We just want to tell the sales representative responsible for closing the deal with that user that, hey, this guy again converted in some other way, for example, by registering. So I'm going to use a filter to find which sales representative is assigned to this user. So I again scroll down to deal, assigned to, and exactly Lech Golewicz. Great, I can save it. And if that's the case, then I will send an email to Lech Golewicz. So here's my agent, and I will go, hey, the agent user profile to learn more, right? If it's the case that the user belongs to another agent, then I can either use the same filter right here and check it for other agent. In case there are only two, I can go yes and no, and then simply copy the content, paste it here, and choose another agent. Of course, I don't have any. Right, so this is how you can create new deals automatically when the user registers. Now we're going to create another automation, this time for new activities. So, for example, in most companies, when the user registers, you will either send an automated email or you will send a personal email. So in this case, let's think about a scenario where the company decides to send a personal email. So the sales representative should check the lead, check the company that they are from, and write a personal email. So they should have an activity scheduled right after having a deal created. So we're going to look for activities and create an activity block. It's right here. So let's schedule it. The activity type is going to be an email, and the name of the activity is going to be send a welcome email. And date time means how far in the future it's going to be, so it's like 1000 minutes. Then duration 15 minutes, description, and it's going to be assigned to Kurlevich, of course. Oh, I have to provide the description. So this is the description. Don't do this at home. Of course, you should always include very clear descriptions. Alright, and I can create another one for this agent. So what happens? The user registers on their website. We check if they already have a deal, and if they don't have a deal, we create a new deal, either with one sales representative or the other one. So we're going to flip a coin. And for each deal created here, we're going to schedule an activity so that the sales representative sends a welcome email to this user. Right, I think this is pretty clear. Of course, there are no limits to your creativity regarding creating automations. The only thing that you have to remember is that when you create an activity, it's never assigned to a deal, it will always be assigned to the user. That is because a single user can have multiple deals assigned to them, but the activity should be assigned to only one deal. So instead of thinking which deal should this activity be assigned to, we simply assign this activity automatically to the user performing the automation, not the deal that he receives.